took that as that advice, and I was like, okay, holla. And I haven't looked back.
Yeah.
As an art director and as a graphic designer, when I first started, straight out of school, I was probably making about anywhere between 45,000, which was pretty good for straight out of school. So just to give that testimony that I haven't looked back, and from that day, that's a great.
How long ago was that?
I've probably been self-employed for about going on 12, 13 years.
Wow.
So.
Wow. So if you never were racially profiled, we would never have Derek Blanks, pretty much. Is what
Well,
I'm saying.
I never believe in that, because if it wasn't that, it probably was something else.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about alter egos.
Okay.
And first off, it's an incredible concept, because I feel like everyone always has two different things, especially when you talk about your work self and then your outside self. I've got a couple, I think I have about 3 alter egos myself, right? I'll have to do a photo shoot one day. So how did you come up with this concept? And when you came up with this concept, did you think it would catch on as big as it is now?
Being an aspiring photographer and seeing successful photographers like Nigel Barker on America's Next Top Model and all these other ones from Top Model, where it was very popular at one time, I noticed the double exposure, or what they call alter ego, and I was thinking to myself, like, what would make this different? What would make it pop? And what was missing? And it was the interaction between the two subjects. So they would have, example, Eva on one side and Eva on the right side, but they would never touch each other. So I thought, like, what if we had that wow factor of, like, how did he do this? So this is where I utilized all of my schooling, as far as I was meaning before, like the drawing, the shadows, all that, and created the wow factor. So at that time, I had started building my clientele, and I reached out to some of the celebrity clients that were new and fresh, Eva being one of them. So I started it and did it one by one, decided to put a team together of the professionals that I work with, hair and makeup, and we would literally go out to LA maybe 3 to 4 times a year, and we would like bunk and like room together and shoot 5 or 6 celebrities in one studio, in and out, and come back. And it just grew and grew. So at the time, I was like, okay, I want to do a big showing. And I talked to my publicist at the time, and we put it out there, and it was packed. Like, T.I. and Tiny came out, CeeLo, Janelle Monáe, and this is before, Janelle Monáe is who she is now, but it was all these images from my LA alter egos to Atlanta, and the next day it was like a viral sensation, and people were passing around like they used to do on email chains and all that. So I had worked with Nene, and I was like, okay, what if I use this platform and see if I can do it on the Housewives? And she was like, sure, that's cool. So, it just took off from there. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna spear this and ask all the girls to do it. So we did it on all the women, and then I redid the opening, and I was paranoid because I had to reprint all these pictures in frames, spend over $6,000, on the artist, photographer, self-employed. I'm like, where am I gonna get this from?
Right.
But it was a huge success when it aired, and the phones literally rang off the hook. They would play repeats every time, and we could not be watching the TV, and we'll know whenever it came on, because the phones would instantly start calling like that. And it brought up the commercial clientele too, with like Essence, Ebony, Sony, all those clients were coming to me as well. So it was massive exposure for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So here's a question for you. You're always behind the camera. Now, if you were in front of the camera for one of your alter egos, what would your alter egos be?
That's a good question. It would have to be like
we see the reserve, Derek. What would the
Right.
other ones be like?
Well, it would possibly be reserved as well.
That's one, Derek. No, there's something else in there.
Very powerful.
Okay, powerful, reserved.
Okay.
You got two. I saw Michelle's. Michelle had a lot of
Right.
alter egos.
What else? It would be pretty extreme. It'd be materialistic with cars and clothes.
Okay.
You know, anything I wanted at the drop of a dime.
Uh-huh.
You know, I would have
So you have gold chains,
Right.
and just the whole. Okay.
be like flying, getting out of a jet. You know,
Okay.
actually I did that, but it was for work. You know,
Oh,
but I would have a
sweet.
private helicopter or jet, something like that. And a yacht, of course.
Of course. Of course.
So it would be flossy. I would be very flossy.
Flossy, reserved, and powerful.
Right.
Those would be your three.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Selfies are in right now. I can't take selfies. I've tried. It just doesn't work for me. I can't get my angles
Yes,
right.
you can.
No, Derek, I tried. It doesn't work. So, what advice would you give, not just me, but the tribe? What advice would you give us to making sure that we take the right angle for our selfies? Because every time I try to take a selfie, it just
Right.
doesn't look good.
Okay, so rule number one, when you're doing a selfie, find your light.
Okay.
So you don't want to shoot against the light because you'll be in shadow. You don't want to shoot in harsh lighting conditions because it'll bring out all your flaws. You don't want any of that. Soft, diffuse lighting. The best selfie lighting would probably be a bathroom mirror. And if
Probably
you,
like everyone has their bathroom mirror.
right.
I hate those.
But what you
That's
can
my
do,
fault. That's why I can't. That's why I don't have good selfies.
but what you can do is, what I would do if you're outside,
Yeah.
look for a cloud and go shoot in the shadow of the cloud.
Oh,
Make sure it's
okay.
diffused.
Okay.
You want to face the cloud though, so the light still hits you, it just softens it.
Okay. All right.
Another trick you may want to do is you can hold up a folder and open it up, white side, hold it in one hand and go like that, get you some nice catch light too.
Okay.
So try that.
What about the angles? Like, how do I know which angle I'm supposed to take my selfie on?
You practice and you do just that. So you do it at a whole bunch of different angles,
Okay.
and then you go back through it and you find your angles.
But I can never remember which way I took the photo when I did. I guess I have to just remember.
Yeah, you're gonna have to remember that. But that's most important. That's how you see some people that do it a lot.
Yeah.
They go to the same pose every time.
Right.
Because they know their best angle.
Got it. Got it. Well, Derek, thank you so much for stopping by.
No problem.
Make sure you all tune in. I want to hear your comments. Like us, ask questions. You all have a good day. Bye, tribe.